Anybody else see the video of Sierra Rose, the creator, with the broken jaw after she went out with her coworker? I stand by it, and I stand by it. Your coworker aren't your friends. Your coworkers are not your friend. So this girl said that she went out with her coworker, who was a male. She went out by herself with her coworker, and she doesn't remember anything after the first drink. She doesn't remember anything. She told part one of the story, and part two, she mentions that he texted her while she was asleep because she went to bed. She don't even remember going to bed. And he was like, hey, just to let you know, you blacked out. You peed on yourself. I put you in a robe. I tried to give you a shower, but I put you in a robe, put you in the bed. Let me know when you wake up, which is already fucking weird enough. So she gets that text and she was like, LOL, not realizing what the fuck has happened. She goes into her bathroom to brush her fucking teeth and realizes she's missing teeth. She comes back out the bathroom. She goes back into her bedroom downstairs and she realizes there's literally blood everywhere. She said it looked like a murder scene because there was blood all over her white carpet. There was blood on her bed. Like, there was no mistaking that she was hurt, and he should have taken her to the hospital. But no, he took her into her home, laid her down, and attempted to change her clothes and put a robe on her. So she texted her homegirl and was like, hey, I'm missing some teeth. And the girl was like, nah, send me a picture. She sends her the picture. The girl freaks out. So then she texts the coworker back, the guy, and she's like, what the fuck happened last night? Because I don't remember. He doesn't respond. Then she also states that they got to her house at 2:45 a.m. Now, mind you, she doesn't remember giving her his address. She doesn't remember giving him her keys or anything. But at some point she must have, because how did he know, where she lived, and how did he know how to get in her house? But she said at 2:45, they get to her house. 2:53 a.m., he goes to his car to grab something. On the Rain camera, she sees him grab something. She doesn't know what it is. This boy stayed in her house from 2:53 a.m. to 4 in the morning. So she's like, what transpired within that hour and like 10 minutes? She hasn't gotten an answer. He won't tell anybody. Part 3 hasn't come out yet. And I don't want to speculate. But did he put something in her drink? I hope nothing else transpired from there. But we won't know until she come out with part 3, y'all.
Here is my story on how I broke my jaw. I woke up to a broken jaw on May 18th after a night out drinking with a male coworker. Open gash on my chin, so deep that you could see my bone. My jaw was broken this way and completely detached right here. My teeth had almost completely bitten through my lip, my bottom ones biting through the inside. I have a huge amount of scar tissue right here. There's stitches all in here, all down here. And then my front top teeth bit through. I don't know if you can see the scar tissue. My front tooth completely came out, root and all, and then I chipped my other front tooth, and there is a molar that is chipped on the inside. That was all of my injuries though. I didn't break any other bones, didn't crack my fingers, I had nails on, didn't lose a nail, just a lot of bruising. On Saturday night, May 17th, me and my coworker decided to go out for drinks after work. Yes, he was a male. Yes, it was our first time hanging out. Yes, that was my first mistake. We decided to go to a bar that my friend was working at. When we arrived to the bar, it was completely empty. There was like no one there and my friend was leaving. So the three of us left together in one car to go to a new club. The line was really long. My friend didn't want to wait, so she left me and my coworker there, which I never, ever, ever blamed her for or was mad at her for or felt any type of way towards. Me and my coworker finally make our way inside the club after waiting like 25 minutes, and we immediately head to the bar. He orders us 2 shots each and a tequila soda, and that is literally the only thing I remember from that entire night. I will say that we were drinking in the car before we got to the bar, so I did not get there stone cold sober. I have never in my life ever blacked out before. I always know my limits when I'm drinking, and I don't do any sort of drugs or anything else like that. I'm literally 90% of the time a sober sister. So this was so unlike me. Everything that happened this night, I feel like was so out of character for everyone that was involved. Everyone was acting so weird. I can't even explain it. And I'll go into that deeper in a different video because I'm just trying to keep this as a story time. It's such a long story. This was my first time ever blacking out, and it was also my first time ever going out alone with a man. I wake up in the morning on May 18th to a text from my coworker saying, "Here is my story on how I broke my jaw. Part 2. This was my first time ever blacking out, and it was also my first time ever going out alone with a man. I don't remember anything else from that night. I wake up in the morning on May 18th to a text from my coworker saying that I had taken a fall down the stairs and I peed myself, and he did his best to clean me up. He got me in bed and to call him in the morning. I was not in any pain when I woke up. There was nothing that immediately flagged me that like, oh my god, I'm in pain, I'm in danger, something happened. I literally read the text, I responded, LMAO, I'm so sorry. Because I was so embarrassed that I, 1, got too drunk, 2, fell, 3, peed myself. After I sent that text, I went back to sleep. I finally get up around 8 a.m. on May 18th, Sunday morning, and I make my way to the bathrooms and brush my teeth like I do every single morning. When I looked in the mirror, this is what I saw looking back at me. I didn't even know, I don't even remember like my first initial thought. I don't process things very well. So guess what the first thing I did was? I proceeded to brush my teeth. Literally jaw hanging off, and I'm like, oh yeah, I'm texting my best friend, and I'm like, I'm so calm about the entire thing, which is bizarre. And I'm like, oh my god, my teeth are gone. And she's like, what the fuck are you talking about? And I'm just texting her, and I'm like, oh my god, dude, my teeth are literally gone. She's like, send me a picture. I send her a picture. She immediately starts freaking out because she's not one to stay calm. She starts freaking out, as she should, honestly. And I go downstairs, and I finally notice that my room looks like a murder scene. Like, my room literally looks like someone was murdered in it. There was so much blood all over my carpet. My carpet's white. All over my bed. Like, literally, the whole thing was covered in blood. Smeared on the wall down the stairs. There was blood on the floor. There was blood everywhere. I wish I took pictures. I didn't take pictures of anything. I was so ill-prepared. I end up texting my coworker, and I'm like, what the fuck happened? Like, I know you said I fell, but what the fuck happened? Like, what happened? He obviously doesn't answer because he's still sleeping. Whatever I was wearing, I woke up in a bathrobe. I woke up with my hair in a bun, all my jewelry was off, my makeup was off, my contacts were out. I don't know if I was so blacked out that I didn't feel the pain of my jaw and I continued to get unready for bed, or if no, because he said that he undressed me. I think the scariest part is not knowing what happened to me when he brought me home. And we have ring camera footage of him getting me in the house, and I am so annihilated, I am so obliterated, I can't even walk. It's insane to see myself like that because I've never been like that. But I had to be somewhat still conscious because I had to tell him where I lived, give him the keys to get in the house. We got back to the house around 2:45, and then he walked back out to his car at 2:53. So 8 minutes after we got in my house, he walked back to his car at 8:53, grabbed something, and then came back in, and he didn't leave again until almost 4 a.m. where he's walking out with his bloody t-shirt, and then he leaves. The scariest part is that he refuses to tell anyone what happened that night. I texted him a million times. He kept saying, I took a fall. I think what baffles me the most is like, you see I took a fall, I'm completely annihilated, I don't even probably know what's going on. He saw that my tooth was missing, he knows I'm bleeding a lot, his t-shirt was covered in blood if he was trying to clean me up. You left me there. He left me there bleeding in my bed. I woke up to so much blood. I also was drinking, so my blood was thinner. I could have bled out that night. The human decency. You could have just slept on my daybed. I have a second bed in my room. You could have slept and stayed with me for the night. You could have taken me to the hospital. You could have called the ambulance. Or you could have seen if anyone else was home. I live with other people and he knew that. The fact that he just cleaned me up and put me to bed is ridiculous. It's crazy. I could have died. I literally could have died that night and no one would have known what would happen. No one would have known a single thing that would have happened to me. But for the first 2 or 3 days, that didn't click in my head. I didn't view him as a villain. I didn't view anyone as a villain. In my head, I got too drunk. I fell down the stairs. I was embarrassed that I drank too much. I was embarrassed that I fell. I was embarrassed that now my jaw was broken, and I was embarrassed that I pissed myself. And I didn't want to tell anyone. I almost didn't even tell my mother about it. I end up calling my boyfriend and he picks me up and immediately takes me to the hospital. Here is my story on how I broke my jaw. Part 3. I literally could have died that night and no one would have known what would happen. My coworker is being so dodgy with answering questions. I'm asking him what happened after I fell. Did I fall when I first got there? You know, what did I do? Did I know that I fell? Like, was I acting like I was drugged or was I just drunk? Like, I told him I was at the hospital. Like, I think I'm gonna get like a drug test, like whatever. And he's like, yeah, do it. And then he pulls the, well, you did leave me for 15 minutes at the club. And I was like, what do you mean I left you? And he's like, you went and talked to other people like for 20 minutes. I end up calling my boyfriend and he picks me up and immediately takes me to the hospital. The first hospital we go to completely wastes my time. They did nothing for me. We spent 8 hours there. They did literally nothing. They took pee samples. I don't even think they took blood samples. I think they just gave me an IV. And then they were like, yep, your jaw's broken, but we don't handle that here. And I was like, so what? They didn't even give me medicine. They gave me like literally nothing. We ended up going to Boston Hospital. Thankfully, my boyfriend's mother works in hospitals. She was able to get me a private room that same day. Literally, thank you God, because I don't know what I would have done without that. I check in around 7 p.m. and let me just say, I've already used the bathroom at this point. I brushed my teeth. I took a shower before we went to the Boston Hospital. There was so much blood in my hair and just everywhere. They're asking if I want to do a grape kit, and I'm like, no, because in my head, let me say again, for the first like 3 days, I did not think anyone was the villain at all. In my head, I also thought that nothing like that would ever happen to me. It's never even crossed my mind that like I could be in danger like that. I don't ever think about myself like that at all in those situations. So at first I said no. Mind you, I already showered, already used the bathroom, already brushed my teeth, and I was also just in so much pain. I just really didn't feel like doing a kit, and I also genuinely didn't think that anything would ever happen or that he would have done anything to me to begin with. My boyfriend and everyone asked the hospital a million times to please take blood samples and test me to see if I've been drugged. They took literally like 12 blood samples. This was my arm from how many blood samples they took from me. And we made it very clear, like, please drug test me. We get the test results back from the hospital, and those mother effers didn't even test me for drugs. They tested me for alcohol, which like, and then they tested me for some sort of psychosis medicine. They didn't test for Xanax, they didn't test for a roofie, they didn't test for a Molly, they didn't test for anything that we specifically asked for. Like, what did you do with my 12 samples of blood? What do you mean you didn't freaking test me when I'm sitting here debating a grape kit? I'm telling you, I don't remember my night. I'm coming in with a broken jaw. I end up getting discharged from the hospital. Literally everybody is telling me, you need to file a police report. You need to get the police involved. And I was like, I don't want to. Like, I really don't want to. Because I just knew that the police couldn't do anything. But they were like, they can go to the club. They can view the footage. They can see if you've been drugged. They can question this man. They can get everyone's story. Like, if he ever did anything to anyone else or anything like that, like, they would have it on file. Like, you need to file a police report. And I was like, okay. At the beginning, I just didn't want to do any of that. I did not think that my coworker was in the wrong. I thought it was nice of him that he cleaned me up, had to deal with all that. Like, I've only known him for like 2 months, you know what I mean? It's not like we were besties. I felt like a burden, you know, that there's nothing worse than like being that drunk friend, and that's what I felt like. I was literally so embarrassed. So about 6 days after the incident, we went and filed a police report. The thing is that I didn't know what I wanted from the police report. I didn't know what I wanted the police to get from me, which is one of the reasons why I didn't want to do the police report. I guess my biggest thing was I really wanted them to check the footage of the club and question my coworker that was involved. That's literally, I think, all I wanted from them. So we open the police report. I tell them everything. I give them all the screenshots that I have. I give them everything. And they're like, okay, like, we're gonna go to the club. We're gonna see if they have the footage. We're gonna do everything that we can to help you. Days go by and I don't hear anything from the police.